Autumn has officially arrived in West Crown. Although because of the climate, one would be forgiven in not necessarily realizing it. The trees have yet to begin giving up their leaves, but the cool breeze that started a month ago has picked up, and the sunny days have become shorter and cloudier. But that hasn't stopped the people of West Crown from enjoying what remaining daylight they have as the year grows darker. And we can see many people in the mid-afternoon walking the streets. As we come to the eastern side of Rego Skripa, the northeastern corner of Rego Skripa, to a ramshackle dive bar known as the Bruised Eel. Walking up to the Bruised Eel, we see a familiar, shiny face. Flint. I'm sure your uniform hasn't changed much, but what do you look like? It's been, for Flint now, 2 months since we defeated the Bastards of Erebus.
Flint, yeah, his demeanor is really the only thing about him that's particularly changed. Before, he was a dutiful, but, kind of set in his ways guy. Whereas now he walks a little bit more of a swagger. He's on track, it seems, for promotion at this point, and he's definitely feeling his oats. He did a good thing. All this work paid off. It's been good to finally be able to, feel some recognition in the force. And as he comes in, he's got himself a new cape. It's now got, despite the Tari symbol still being there, it now has an extra bit that he can kind of unfurl to cover it for when he's doing things that should not be Tari led.
Ooh.
The cape has a big ruff on it. He had Marble make it for him, or rather, Marble made it for him, and he didn't want to say no, so he tells everyone that, oh yeah, no, I asked her to do it, and she was all about it, so it's all good.
As we step into the Bruised Eel, you can see some familiar faces. In particular, you see behind the bar Yako Pulio, or Yako for short, the gnomish woman who is a part of the Concerned Citizens. This short, very pale woman with dark black hair that has grown out in the last few months. She's letting it grow. And she's behind the bar, enjoying herself, smoking a big, fat cigar. But Flint, you see who you're coming here to meet. You see Lowen sitting at a table with someone else who you don't immediately or at all recognize. Lowen, it's been 2 months, maybe a month since we've seen you last. Has your garb changed at all?
I think whereas with the meeting with Sakun, Lowen was dressed very casual. Now meeting with Zyphon, he's back to some of his regular attire. He's wearing a very deep dark red button-up shirt. It's quite very neat. Has the same kind of black, I guess fancy dress pants, if you will call them that. Same boots, suspenders. Has his hair down, but has these two braids on the side that come in the back. And other than that, Lowen doesn't really like to dress fancy in a sense. Just classy, but not too many accessories and other things. But he looks less casual.
Across from Lowen is Zyphon, this human man with obvious Nidalese descent. I said Yako is a pale woman, and compared to Zyphon, she has spent a week on the beach. He's so white that it looks like the life has been sucked out of him. And the sort of gray-white hair, long hair that frames his face doesn't help with that strange monochrome look. He's wearing these very fancy black robes that clearly have magic woven into the threads. Lowen, I've done all I can. I've already once offered my hand to Julana to unite our houses, and she has adamantly denied my request.
Well, that's why you shouldn't offer anything. Do you really think that I got anywhere with her by just offering and asking?
From where I sit, Lowen, it doesn't seem you've gotten anywhere with her.
No. That's why I left.
Hmm.
But if she goes through with this, then you won't get anywhere either. If she finds this person that she's looking for and she has someone to follow up, you will be forever stuck where you are as well.
That is what I'm afraid of. My sources have said that she's looking within our very own household. That she might even be going around me to the Rufano family.
I have sabotaged our relationships before. I'm sure it can't be that difficult, even though I'm not around. Anyway.
I mean, marrying a fetchling, that just wouldn't be... It's not something the nobles of Westcrown have done.
See, Lowen kind of like tries very hard not to comment. This is one of the many reasons that he's glad he's not around there anymore. But he just goes, it doesn't really matter who she's trying to marry. What matters is that she doesn't. I'm sure he would agree. I'm not saying things that don't make sense.
You say many things, but nothing of good value just yet. Nothing I can actually use and work with, Lowen.
Oh, so you're leaving me to do all the work. You can't think for yourself.
I think this conversation has come to a natural end.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you. I'm more than willing to offer whatever services I can, whatever insight and advice I have from living with her all that long. But if you would rather watch your chance at taking her place just vanish, then I shall leave you to that.
The next time we meet, he pushes the chair back and stands up. Can we meet somewhere a little more clean, perhaps?
I forgot you are sensitive. I will keep it in mind.
And he walks towards the front, and his black cloak just sort of like whips past Flint.
Flint casually leans out of the way, watching this guy go, just taking a big drag on his pipe and blowing it, perhaps, in his direction. Nice play. He was just kind of sitting and leaning and watching this conversation. No, he never drinks when he's in there, but he'd already gotten his pint at the bar. Actually, is he on duty or off, Griffith?
Shrug.
I guess he's off duty at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, he's off duty, sure. Which means that he's got his cape wrapped. It's got the inside out there. He's off duty. He's having a drink since he's off duty. He has many behind the bar, and it's time to collect. As he does, actually, he brings one over and plops it in front of Lowen and says, wow, you have a great habit of making really good friends with when you meet.
I can assure you he's not a friend.
And I can assure you I was being facetious.
Ignore him. It's what I do, usually. Anyway, I'm glad you could meet.
Yeah, of course. Always good to see how things are going. Keep an eye on the ins and outs.
Yes, how has that been going? Was my recent intel of any use?
Very, in fact. Actually, and Flint leans in conspirator and goes, your man Flint here looks like he's down for promotion.
Well, I suppose that would warrant celebration. You're buying drinks?
Yeah, well, it's not like you ever do. He pushes the drink he already brought over towards Lauren, and then makes her finger gesture to one of the bartenders for another 2.
Yako brings 2 more over and plops them down. Well, by Omede's tits, I never thought to see the 2 of you in here at the same time.
Now, Yakko, I'll have you know that I recommend the Bruised Eel to all my friends. It's a fine establishment where you can only get the best ale in the worst cups.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. We need to put it on the door. And Lowen, I always knew you and I, birds of a feather. Welcome to my nest.
He makes a little bit of a face, but then just tries to give a somewhat polite smile, and he goes like, "Yes, thank you. The drinks are fine. Yes."
She's kind of drunk, and you can definitely smell the cigar and ale.
Flint is in no way surprised.
Yeah.
This is standard.
And she comes over to Lowen and puts her arm around your shoulder, and then gestures around the bar where you can see her employees, scantily dressed employees, flirting with the clientele. You've noticed, but since you've been in here, that every now and then one of them takes a guest to the back rooms.
Right.
She's gonna nudge Lowen and point at one of the staff, and I'm gonna word for word say everything they're saying as they're coming onto this patron. He goes, "Oh, you've definitely had the most my eye all night. Wait, 1, 2. No, I don't say that to any of the other patrons." And then he taps the table 1, 2, 3, and hook, line, and sinker.
See, look at that.
Yeah.
That is a professional, Yakko points after them.
They certainly go down to
I
an
can
art.
see.
Perhaps, Lowen, one of my fishies could interest you as well?
No, not today. Thank you. I am here for business. But I'll keep it in mind.
Business before pleasure, and she taps her nose and winks.
Flint spurts into his drink. Laugh. Flint's enjoying watching Lowen be uncomfortable, so he's just laughing at him.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Lowen, has he never been here before? Because it's not too far from...
It's possible you've been here before. It's the first time Yakko's
Yeah.
noticed you being here.
Okay. Well, I think I don't know if Lowen's necessarily uncomfortable in the classic sense. It's more of a he's okay with the environment, but it's more the arm around his shoulder that he's gently removing that he doesn't want.
Yakko says, fine, but come around often enough and my fishies might consider you a challenge to be taken on if you withhold for too long.
Lowen just Lowen just looks at her and goes we'll see about that. Why don't you go make sure your fishies are being looked after?
Yeah, baiting the hooks. Got it. And she steps away.
Lowen turns to Flint and goes well, she is quite a character.
Oh, Yakko, you get used to her. She's a doll, really.
I'm sure.
Also, you might want to work on your poker face around fishies, Lowen.
Why?
And he points at 2 others who are definitely eyeing Lowen as they're passing by, possibly just doing the standard attempts. They do love new faces.
I'm sure they do. Fortunately for them, I'm not that interested.
Fair. So, and he's gonna reach into his cape where he'll pull out some folded papers. He's gonna lay them out on the table, 3 of them, and he slides them towards them and goes, "Got murderer, kidnapper, arsonist, all in your territory. I'm thinking it would be a shame if," and he turns over the one piece of paper where there's a small map drawn with some marks where he'd like there to be interruptions. Maybe a cart is in the way. Maybe somebody can't get through for some reason. Some kind of, you can see it by looking at the diagram that this is a small trap to catch somebody.
Yeah, Lowen will take the papers and pull them closer to look at them and look at the map and the marks and goes I can work with that. That one straight, there's a gate there. Would be a shame if that was locked at the wrong time. And then over there, I know someone who lives on the corner. I can call in a favor. Leave it with me.
Appreciate it. These people have been hurting people, and that doesn't stand by me.
Right, and in return, I would appreciate it if no one's around on patrol, let's say, tomorrow evening, around, the warehouse where they keep all those crates with arrows and other kinds of, let's say, half-finished weapons.
Yeah, those weapons are, well, I'm not sure where they're bound for, and I'd rather keep them off the streets, so if you're looking to just send them out to the city, make some coin that way, not a problem. Flint, looks at Lowen and says, but, out of the city, yeah? This relationship only works as long as things don't get too messy either side.
Yes, of course. I just trying to earn my keep, and I've got people to pay. And that warehouse has been. Let's just say I'm saying there are weapons, but I'm also pretty sure they're keeping other things, according to intel. But yes, that's too much. As I said, no patrol would be fine.
I can make that work.
Right? To that extent, updates and all. How is the trial going?
Well, you'll be glad to know that Palavine is definitely on track for execution. They're just doing the fine paperwork now. As for his accomplice, I reckon they're going to probably keep her in the cells for a while. After that, it's anyone's guess. But I can tell you, they're not going anywhere after this.
Yes, I am happy to hear that. It's good. Good news. What about the other one?
Well,
Escaped. I have been sending people out to look for her, but I have learned her name. Rachel?
that will be useful information, and he makes a note. Much obliged. Any idea of a last known location?
Last I've heard, she was bouncing around in the Rigogrua a week ago, trying to find different places to stay, but I imagine when people hear what she has done or who she's running from, they'll probably kick her out. They don't want trouble.
That makes sense. I'll tighten the net. Appreciate that. Which I assume leads us to our last piece of business. Any word on our further investigation of this Council of Thieves angle?
Well, I have been trying to look into it. I mean, it is generally considered a legend, a folk tale of sorts. People don't typically believe they exist, but let's just say I have been, well, as you could see today, around enough nobles to know that they always have something up their sleeve. I'm not saying I fully believe, I'm saying that knowing what I know, a secret organization resurfacing, not too improbable.
Of course, happy
I have been trying to gather information, but not really successful, unfortunately.
That's fair. Well,
What about you? Do you believe in them?
I got my ears open, but that's not what people say, right? You don't think you got your ears open. That's weird.
Maybe
No,
you
it's
could-
ears to the ground. I've got my ears open. No. I've had my ears to the ground, and I'm squeezing all my usual informants, but you're more likely to get in there than I am. That said, anything I hear, you hear.
Well, that's not what I asked. And ask if you've been getting intel. I asked, do you believe in their existence?
Oh, I believe rich bastards are always going to try silly bollocks. So, sure.
Yes. I do wonder, though, if they are planning on making a appearance, what that means for the city. I'm not too knowledgeable on their entire past, but from what I know, they were quite powerful. How powerful, I don't know.
While Lowen's been saying this, have they been touching their drink at all, by the way? Because Flint's done and goes for his second one and looks at you pointedly.
He'll have drank some, but not too
Like
much.
a little sippy sips or something?
Not
What
too
is
fast.
this?
Well, no, I think like at half speed of Flint. Like, he's been drinking, but like not downing it or anything. But I think if he notices you're done, we'll just sort of like wave like a hand as in like you can order another one if you want. Like they don't really mind.
No, they've got 4 pints on the table.
Yeah, I think like with every other meeting, it's always been Flint has been drinking more than Lowen has.
Yeah. If Flint's off duty, like he's got a lot of beers behind the bar, so sure. Also, he just doesn't get drunk that easily, I guess. So he goes for second one and nods, watching you. I think you might notice, talking to Flint, that he does talk to you and he is focused on you, but his reptilian kobold eyes, they're constantly scanning the room. Like, whilst he's focused on you, he's also focused on everything else going on in here. Despite drinking, he's pretty alert. He's always got an eye for something.
I think similarly, maybe not today, but during certain meetings, Lowen would have, while you were talking, look at other people because he can read lips. So I think it would have depended on where they were. If they were meeting in a place where he knew that there would be other people that might have similar-ish conversations, he might have been looking around the room. I think right now he is. Maybe if there's like a noise in the background, occasionally we'll like turn around to look like what it is.
Sure, yeah.
Because it's maybe not the first time he's here, but like a newer-ish environment and still trying to get used to it.
I think the difference is that, like, while they might both be doing it, it's like Lowen's, I guess, hitched up. Flint makes a show of being casual, which is why they drink.
Yeah.
But I think it's two guys being like on the lookout, doing a stakeout whilst just pretending to be casual. It's act casual.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's otherwise quite relaxed, but it is very much this is a new environment. I don't know what to expect. Kind of way. And then, but he'll take another sip of his drink and goes, regardless the outcome of this, I sure hope it doesn't cause any more trouble. I am quite done for a little while with all of that.
I don't think you get to stay in the city without running into a little trouble, especially not in our lines of work.
Yes, but that's trouble that I seek out, not trouble that finds me.
Oh, did you seek out the trouble with the bastards?
No, I mean my line of work.
Gotcha.
Well, to be fair, the bastards they cause a lot of issues for me, more patrols and everything. It makes it harder, so I'm quite glad they're gone, but yeah, I try to stay away from trouble. I can, because usually where that kind of trouble is, there are people like you, except the others are not so willing to make a deal.
Well, judgment comes in all forms. Look, tell you what, obviously you are not in a drinking mood. Why don't we take a little walk? We've got maybe an hour or two before sundown, and I've got to pick up some stuff for the anthology after all.
I think Lowen looks around for a moment at the environment and then looks back at Flint and be like, I would not mind that.
All right, quite. Flint downs his pint, downs Lowen's pint, downs the other pint that Lowen has. Slams them all down, waves at Yaku, and takes a wander out into the air.
Yeah, no one will follow behind.
As the pair of you step out into the evening streets of West Crown, indeed, you can feel that cool air coming in from the sea to the south as the clouds begin to cover the sun. People are now making their way home.
All right, just got to make a few stops. You got time, right, Lowen?
Yeah, I suppose I do. I mean, my home's not here, but not awfully far. I can make it in time.
Good. All right, then. Plus, you can hold this, and he's going to hand you a sack. As he starts to peruse over a market store trying to close up and go, wait, I need 2 bags of flour, a bushel of apples. And I'm just like dumping them all into the sack that I've given to Lowen to hold.
Lowen just stood there, like, looking at Flint, kind of like, I don't think he says anything, he just sort of looks at it like, what? Kind of like expression of like, excuse me, as he's sort of being used as a mule in a sense. But I think if Flint's buying like groceries and stuff, Lowen will get some too, because he usually gets some not only for himself but also for the old lady that he rents his apartment from, and sometimes we'll bring her some groceries.
Nice, yeah.
He can be nice.
Would you have told Flint about that lady? Because he probably would know, like, at least like a vague memory of the person.
I think if they've done this kind of shopping more often, and if Flint would have noticed that Lowen bought like things in twofold, he would have just said like, "Oh yeah, the lady that I rent my flat from.
Sure.
It's old and yeah."
That's good to hear, Lowen. Honestly, when I first met you, I thought you were a right stuck-up prick. But it's heartening to hear that you look out for people. Even that kid. What was his name? Boris?
Morris.
Morris.
Morrisino.
Morris.
Morris.
Morris, right, yeah. No, good kid. Yeah, it's a testament to your character that you look out for people, Lowen. Look at all these people. And I point to... No, I do. I point to the street. It's just people like, living their lives and going, all right, everyone here is just trying to get by. Just like you and me. And they don't all do what you or I do, but they try all the same. And they deserve that chance to do it. Also, here, and I'm going to flick you, it's like a little small tin of salve.
Okay.
I forgot to mention, this stuff, brilliant for scales.
Oh. He'll take it and look at it and go like, yes, it's get itchy when they...
Oh, yeah, especially in the heat, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Where'd you get this?
Well, and he kind of looks at himself and goes, funnily enough, I happen to be in good supply of scale ointment.
Yes, I know. I just meant where can I buy some?
Oh, Marble makes it. You should come by sometime. She'll be happy to look after you. My sister.
Marble.
Yes,
your
you
sister,
remember?
I remember. Yes, I do. And I'll look at the salve again and pocket it. Like, thanks, I will remember that. As for your lesson you're trying to impart, I am well aware that people are trying to get by. I know I come across as a, what did you call it?
Prick.
Yes, exactly. But trust me, I have been around people much like my associate you saw earlier, and they do not care at all. So, being here is actually a good change of pace. Seeing people be more humble, honest, just in general less awful.
I think there's a moment, and Flint, reaches for the bag that you've been holding for him, and huffs it over his shoulder, and he looks at you, Lowen, and he says, Lowen, in my line of work, I meet a lot of liars. But the saddest ones are the ones who lie to themselves.
Just looks at, raises an eyebrow, like, what are you implying?
Have a good night, Lowen. And he's going to turn and leave.
Oh my god. The sad part is that Flint's not even wrong.
Yeah.
And Lowen sighs, shakes his head. I'll head on home, because it's getting dark.
When you open up that salve, there's like a little handwritten note of how to use it and so on.
I think that evening in his flat, he'll be using that. But I think he'll be sitting on his bed before he uses it and just looks at it for a moment. He strangely holds it in his hand and stares at it. Thinking about comments made earlier. And then after a moment of just thinking, we'll read the note, the instructions, and we'll try and apply. And I think we'll be strangely annoyed that it's actually working.
Oh yeah, it's like
because that means that he has to. Because now he's like, oh, now I have to admit that it's working and I have to go back. But yeah, there's this moment where I think the whole scene feels strangely lonely when he's just sat there alone, looking at it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where that scene ends.
Juxtaposed with Flint returning to the anthology and being surrounded by people.
Yeah. A lot of the younger kobolds have probably heard from Downward that he had an adventure with Flint, and now are also reading swashbuckling books and also asking Flint questions.
And as the autumn night rolls in, we leave Westcrown for now until the next time we check back in.
Hey.
Tumble Through presents Twilight's Edge, a Pathfinder 2nd edition actual play of the Council of Thieves adventure path, converted from Pathfinder 1st edition. Tumble Through uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc., used under Paizo's fan content policy, paizo.com/licenses/fan content. Tumble Through is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com.
Vecna is definitely on point for execution.
Who is? You said Zekun.
Did I say Zekun? Oh, God, sorry. Zekun's on his way to execution.
Wow, okay.
Call the group together, we're doing another jailbreak.
It's that because of today's episode where Zekun nearly killed Flint.